Hey, welcome. I hope you're doing good. Thank you for joining me. So today's reading is, I was hoping to, I don't know, give some form of reassurance if anyone here is feeling worried, if anyone here is feeling nervous, or you just need that extra confirmation that something's going to be okay and that something is going to work out for you, okay? So that's what this reading is about, something that you don't need to worry about or you won't be needing to worry about very soon, okay? So there are three groups. First group is the aventurine crystal. Second group is the blue calcite. And the third group is the kyanite crystal. Okay, so group 1, 2, and 3. If you do need to take a moment to pause the pause the video so you can take some time to choose your group, go ahead. But I will see you in your readings. Hey, group 1, if you've chosen the first group, the aventurine, then this reading is for you. So what is it that you don't need to worry about, right? So we do have the Eight of Pentacles upright. We have the Queen of Cups in reverse. So some of you could have worries about your job, whether that's about progression, whether that's about environment or the people you work with. You could be worried about pouring too much into your job, or whether you're doing enough or whether you're doing too much. But it feels like the overall message is that your ambition will pay off, and it feels like you'll be feeling stable and secure in your job and the decisions you've made in terms of what it is you do for work or what you're planning to do next. But overall, it does feel like your ambition will pay off as well. You could also be worried maybe about your reputation, but it feels like people already view you with respect and they admire you and they admire what you do and what you bring to the table in terms of your work, but maybe also just this feels more general as opposed to just like limited to your job. You also don't need to worry about your ambitions because you will see it through. If any of you are worried about being able to see something through, or in terms of progression, it just feels like what you could be worried about now, you will see it becoming a success, or you will be able to align with either the mindset or the people or whatever it takes for it to become a success. So some of you are just being encouraged to continue to feel confident in yourself, feel confident in your goals and what you're working towards right now. Like, try not to doubt yourself. Some of you also, you don't need to worry about your prospects because you have a lot of prospects, even if you may not see it now or it's just not very clear to you now. And some of you, maybe your progress is slow, but it's also consistent. It's like a tree growing roots. I don't know. Do trees grow roots fast? But it's like a seed being planted. Like, sometimes there's a lot going on below the surface. And so yeah, for some of you, the progression may seem slow. I can't remember what I was talking about. But it feels like you will see the growth, or you will see the prospects coming from it. And another thing that's coming through is that you don't need to worry about being friendly, or like maybe being nice or having a smile on your face all the time or trying to be positive. You're just kind of being encouraged to feel how you feel when you feel it. You know, you're very much justified in your feelings as well. So if some of you are like worried about whether you have the right or whether you should just kind of snap out of it and kind of just feel another way, like, you're being encouraged to just feel how you feel, even if you don't feel justified in how you feel, if that makes sense. it just feels like in the long run it could hurt you if you were to like keep trying to mask or micromanage your feelings. Some of you could be feeling emotional or just a bit sensitive, maybe drained or tired. Try not to worry about it too much, and try not to worry about the impacts that it might have on, is it on your it could be in regards to your prospects, maybe your relationships as well. Try not to worry about that too much, because it may have an impact, and that's just kind of life. But you shouldn't, kind of like dismiss how you're feeling just because of like other people or how situations may perceive your feelings, because it'll be better for you in the long run if you kind of just are able to work through however you're feeling, and like kind of be able to come to a resolution within yourself. And another thing that's coming through is that you don't need to worry about your intuition. Some of you, your intuition could be mixed in with like your emotions, and having them kind of mixed in and maybe a bit confusing, it could give you mixed messages or maybe even the wrong messages. So it's okay to not act on your intuition until you kind of gain more clarity and stability in how you're feeling and in your intuition. And you also don't need to be worried about being seen as wrong. For some of you, even like delusional, eventually you will be proven right as well. So it's okay to be seen as a little crazy for a little while. And another thing is that you don't need to worry about being goofy or silly. It's actually very endearing. Okay, so we have, it's not everyone else's fault, it's yours. Let me see what that's about. So I don't know how to word this other than saying some of you need to stop blaming yourself, especially if it's like something personal to you and people perceive it, or in a different way to like how you're feeling it or what the situation actually is for you. Try not to blame yourself for how you're feeling or for how other people can see it or see you. It may not even have anything to do with other people. It could be like the pressure and the pressure that you kind of put on yourself. Like, try not to blame yourself or kind of be too hard on yourself. Some of you could be worried about not being hard enough on yourself, and that's something that you don't need to worry about, because it feels like you're already being hard on yourself. If anything, it could be great if you were to do the opposite. So we also have upgrade your mental software. So this group, you don't need to worry about feeling the need to do better, be better, upgrade in some way, or kind of push yourself to grow even more. It feels like if there is a time where you need to grow or you need to upgrade or you need to take on more or do more or explore more, then that will kind of happen quite naturally. Like, it's not something that you need to force on yourself. So yeah, some of you could be being quite harsh on yourself. So try not to worry too much about upgrading or changing. For some of you, this could be about more like material stuff or more physical stuff. Maybe you feel like, I don't know, maybe getting in shape or upgrading like certain areas of your house or certain, material things that you have. Like, some of you, you're just being encouraged not to worry about that. It feels like you don't need to worry because it's like when the right time or when things align better, you'll kind of just know and it won't be a worry. It will just be like, okay, let's do that. Let's upgrade, as opposed to maybe worrying about money or worrying about if you have the time to do it. So we also have silencing the mind. Let silence guide you to inner peace. Sorry, excuse me. Try not to worry too much about overthinking. Yeah, you're just being encouraged to try not to overthink so much, especially if overthinking makes you feel conflicted. Some of you are also being encouraged to like be patient when it comes to making decisions as well. And finally, we have clearing negativity. So there's a lot here, especially in terms of these oracle cards about your mental space. Let's see. So we have clearing negativity, release negativity from within or around you. So some of you, you're actually being encouraged not to worry about releasing negativity or like trying to be positive or trying to put a positive spin on certain things. Like that could be going back to the earlier message about allowing yourself to feel how you feel, just because you feel upset or frustrated or whatever it may be, it doesn't make it like a negative emotion, So try not to worry too much or put too much pressure on yourself about purging that certain things that you could perceive as negative. It feels like it will be removed and purged quite naturally. So so that's another reason why you're being encouraged not to worry about it too much. There's also a message about being able to see certain things that you may view as burdens and seeing it as like another responsibility or another thing to do. And the reason why this is coming up, because it feels like being able to see something that could be a burden, but not being able to see it as a burden will kind of shift your perspective on it and make it kind of much easier for you moving forward. Or it will kind of help give you clarity or kind of see things clearly so that you're able to kind of make it not a burden. Is that? Yeah. So yeah, it could either help you kind of remove it completely by not seeing it as a burden, kind of just getting on with it, and maybe it'll kind of like, I don't want to say fade away, but kind of not fade away, that's not the right word. Like kind of work itself out, or you'll be able to work through it until that burden has been removed, if that makes sense. But anyways, that is all I have for those of you who chose this group. I really do hope it could be helpful to you, and I hope it could make sense, and I'm wishing you all the best. All right, please take care of yourselves. Bye. Hey, welcome. Hope you're doing good. Thank you for joining me. If you've chosen the second group, the Blue Cow site, then this reading could be for you. So what is it that you don't need to worry about? Okay, so we have the Nine of Swords upright. We also have the Magician upright. Okay, so some of you could be feeling fearful. You could be feeling stressed at the moment. I mean, you're obviously justified in how you feel, and it feels even, feels silly even me saying that you're justified in how you feel, because of course, right? You don't need me to say that, but it feels like overall there will be a peaceful resolution to whatever it is that you are feeling fearful about and whatever you are feeling stressed about. And there's also a strong sense of justice for this group. So it feels like this group, if you're worried about receiving justice, then that's something that will be happening for you as well. You could be worried about a burden, sorry, But your burdens will soon be lessened. I mean, it may not go straight away, but it will get easier. The burden will lessen as well until it is eventually removed. You may also receive the help that you need very soon, like genuine help, real help. Some of you could even be feeling deeply unhappy, but it feels like there will be someone who helps to alleviate that feeling. Some of you could be feeling betrayed, and that's an emotion as well that you will be overcoming soon. Someone may come in to help you with that, whether it's like, it doesn't really feel like professional help. This could be more so maybe a friend, maybe family. This could even be not like a stranger, maybe a stranger, like someone you don't really know very well, but maybe they give you advice or they give you comfort that kind of just helps. And that kind of like soothes you. It could also be an acquaintance. But it does feel like there is going to be someone coming in that kind of helps you feel not alone, but helps you feel like things will change and help, like things will get better, you know? Some of you could be worried about whether you would be able to cope emotionally. This could be something that you're already going through. It could be something that you're kind of worried about in the future. I'm worried about whether or not you will be able to cope. But it feels like your emotional strength and your resilience will be reinstalled, if that makes sense. You also don't need to worry about something that you've been manifesting. It's happening and it's like in the works right now. You will see like the finished product soon, you know, whatever that could be for you. You also don't need to worry about the influence you have over other people. Just continue to focus on yourself and the things that you do have control over. So don't worry too much about, it doesn't really feel like trying to convince people, but it doesn't really feel like leading as well. But maybe you're worried about how you may influence people or what influence do you currently have over people. But it feels like right now that may not, be important in comparison to the other things that you could be dealing with right now. So you're just being encouraged to not worry about that influence too much right now and what influence you may have or may not have, Another thing you don't need to worry about is money. It feels like you'll be getting financial help, whether this is an increase in your own finances or whether this is someone coming through or whether this is being approved for a loan even. But it feels like you will be getting financial help very, very soon. And you don't need to worry about whether or not you will succeed because you will, okay? Another thing you're being encouraged not to worry about is your intellect and your logic, your mind, maybe kind of how people perceive your logic and your mentality and your intellect. You're just being encouraged not to worry about that. It's kind of like just a reminder that not everyone's going to understand you or not everyone's going to agree with you, and that's okay, And some of you also need to not worry about like having everything you need. Maybe you feel like you don't have everything you need right now, or this could be in the grand scheme of things, or it could be something more like simple, like having all the ingredients or having all the materials to complete something. And even if you may not have all the, resources now, it feels like you soon will be, or you'll have it when, the timing is right. But anyways. Okay, so we also have here, you think someone is lying. And on the back of it, it says they are. I'm going to see if that is quite literal. So another thing you don't need to worry about is whether someone is being dishonest or kind of worrying about whether someone is lying. It feels like, the truth will come to light at some point. So try not to worry about things that try not to worry about something that you don't really, know for sure. So it feels like eventually, if you are worried about someone lying, they will eventually reveal themselves, or they will eventually get exposed, So we also have chase, face and embrace the person in the mirror. So some of you could feel like you need to make changes within yourself before you're able to be loved, or before you're able to kind of love yourself. But it feels, I don't really know how to word this, because it doesn't really feel like something you shouldn't necessarily worry about. Because some of you could be having some issues when it comes to, self-love and stuff like that. It feels like this is coming out as something not to worry about, because it feels like very soon you're going to have a lot of reasons to love yourself. But it feels like this is coming from like somewhere external. So I don't know. I don't really know what to say about that. But whatever this external validation is, it could be from another person. It could be from like something that you've put energy into, and now you're kind of seeing the results. So it's like making me feel validated, and I kind of love myself more. I feel better about myself. So it could be external validation in that sense. But it feels like it's something for you not to worry about, because this is something that will make you feel happy. It will make you kind of love yourself more and appreciate yourself more, So we also have forgiveness heals, time to release repressed anger as it's blocking your health and happiness. So this may not necessarily have anything to do with forgiveness, but it feels like this group, you will be coming to a place where you feel maybe less internal pressure. Do you know, sometimes when you feel frustrated or you feel angry, it kind of just makes your body feel like it's suffocating. Sometimes it feels like a pressure cooker almost, but it feels like you'll be finding a way to release that pressure, so it's not kind of just bubbling up and suffocating you from the inside. And so yeah, some of you will be removing certain things that have been blocking your happiness, maybe even your health, your view on yourself as well. But this feels like mainly about repressed anger and repressed yeah, so that was clarified by the Five of Swords. So it could be the Five of Swords energy. I feel like there was, I don't know if there was messages earlier about betrayal. It could have been the other group. So for some of you, that could be something else that's kind of like bubbling up inside of you. But whatever it is, it feels like you will release it and you will kind of end up feeling better within yourself. And finally, we have celebrate life. Nice. So it feels like this group is coming into a space or a time where you will be able to celebrate. And again, that could come from that external validation that came through before. Maybe it is something that kind of makes you feel like, yay, like makes you feel excited and makes you feel good about yourself again. And yeah, makes you want to celebrate. So it feels like this group is coming into a time of celebration. Oh, Six of Wands, that's so nice. And especially with that Magician card being there as well. But yeah, that is all that's coming out for this group. I really do hope it could be helpful to you, and I am wishing you all the best. Okay, please take care. Bye. Hello, welcome. Hope you're doing good. If you've chosen the third group, the Kainai, then this reading is for you. So what is it that you don't need to worry about? We have the Three of Wands upright. We have the Ace of Swords in reverse. All right, so for this group, it feels like you don't need to worry about your passions, whether it will bring you success, whether you're on the right path, whether you're doing the right thing, whether you're wasting your time. Try not to worry about it. Just kind of dive into your passions and kind of see where it takes you, you know? It feels like this group, you're kind of being like, not encouraged, but like a confirmation that you are on the right path. And if any of you here are worried about your job or you're worried about money, that's something that you won't need to worry about very soon, or you'll kind of realize that you won't need to worry about it, or you'll either be kind of taking on certain pressures that kind of allows you to kind of grow in terms of your job or your career, or for others you could just be releasing that kind of pressure that you've been putting on yourself. And but it feels like regardless of what action you take next or how things unfold, it feels like that's something that you won't need to worry about, even if that's a change of job or increase in, money or a different position in your, current job or company. Maybe getting a new job, I don't know. But it feels like this is something you won't have to worry about. Let me see, actually, 1 second. And if any of you are kind of worried about whether or not you will be able to afford something, it may take some time. You may need to save up or kind of like manage your money in a different way. But it feels like, if you plan for it, if you kind of budget for it, it feels like it will happen, along with the positive changes that are happening in your finances and your career as well. But yeah, another confirmation is that you are on the right path and it will bring you fulfillment. And some of you are just being encouraged to not lose sight of your goal. Another thing you don't need to worry about are the choices you've made up until this point, and kind of wondering if you've made the right decision, if if you've been on the right path, and the decisions that you've made, it's definitely leading you in the right direction. So try not to worry about that direction too much and this kind of, drive, if that makes sense. It's kind of like keep moving forward. And if any of you are kind of worried about whether or not the decisions you've been currently making will kind of lead you to freedom, especially if that's something that you've been craving and something that you've been wanting, then yeah, try not to worry about the direction you're in, because it feels like it is leading you towards that freedom, especially if that's something that you have been craving. You also don't need to worry about traveling. And if you've been planning to travel, if you've been wanting to travel, this is something that is manifesting for you. Yeah, so try not to worry too much about whether you'll be able to travel, because it feels like you will. It feels like you will, whether that takes planning or whether that's, a blessing from the Most High and the gift of like, finances or just the right circumstances opening up so that you are able to travel more freely. But that's something that will be happening for you as well. You also don't need to worry about, or this could even be traveling to see someone, being able to see someone. It feels like, the right circumstances will align for you to kind of travel to see this person. Some of you will just be traveling more, like life could just be opening up in a way where you do get to travel more, whether that's within your town or your city or traveling abroad or to another state. It feels like you will have the chance to do that, but without worrying though. So yeah, another thing is that you don't need to worry about your opportunities. You have options, and it feels like a lot of you will be seeing these options more clearly very soon. You will, and I feel like seeing these options like clearly, it will kind of rightfully give you more faith and confidence in yourself as well. Whatever plans you have right now, see it through. You're doing the right thing. Don't worry about the past too much. And especially if you're kind of worried about how the past may define your present and your future, you're kind of just being encouraged, like not courage, but like kind of a confirmation that your past doesn't define the opportunities that will be present in your future. And another thing that's coming through is that you don't need to worry about how you come across in conversations. If some of you are kind of, wary about that, you're good. People like and enjoy hearing what you have to say. So try not to worry too much about that. You also don't need to worry about keeping on top of everything. You could stretch yourself too thin or expecting too much from yourself. Try not to worry so much or try not to feel bad about kind of keeping on top of it all. It's like sometimes it's just not like possible energetically, or physically not possible. And that's okay. So try not to be like too harsh or feel too bad about not being able to do it all. Okay. Some of you could be struggling to focus or worried about needing to focus on multiple different things. And try to not let overthinking make you neglect what's like real and important for you. Another thing not to worry about is your failure. This could be past failures, this could be current failures. Don't worry about any setbacks. It feels like it's all a part of your journey to success. So try not to worry about it too much. Try not to define your future on the failures that you've made, because it's all kind of just been nudging you in the right direction, which you're currently on. And another thing, you're being encouraged, like try not to focus too much, like try not to overthink too much. It could mentally wear you out, and it won't allow you to focus on the things that, you need to focus on. So try not to mentally wear yourself out or mentally drain yourself. Maybe kind of having breaks for yourself as well, kind of scheduling breaks, regular breaks. And another thing is not to worry about whether someone's lying to you or not being honest. Like have faith knowing that the truth will eventually come to light. And don't worry about not being able to achieve a certain goal. Like if it's not happening or if it's not working, I'm not saying to give up, or there's no messages like that coming through. That's something that's personal to you, of course. But if you're not able to achieve a certain goal, it's just pushing you further towards what's meant for you. So try not to worry about that too much. Don't worry about rejection. Keep trying, keep moving forward. And also don't worry about people who are hostile as well, like whether it be to you or people who are just like have a hostile energy in general. Literally has nothing to do with you. Don't feel like you need to match their energy, especially if that's just not you, or you just don't want to be caught up in like that type of, energy or that type of like confrontation. Yeah. Okay, so we have take a shot. So this group, I don't know, I just randomly heard the song like I feel like dancing. So some of you could feel like dancing, some of you could be craving that freedom, some of you could be just wanting to like maybe take a break or wanting to just like have fun, and some of you are just being encouraged to go for it. Eight of Wands, Ace of Wands, that's so cool. So yeah, some of you being encouraged to go for it. It could be something that naturally manifests, like someone may call you up and like, hey, do you want to go out, do this? And you know, it just ends up being a great time. So yeah, try not to worry about that too much because it feels like something that's naturally coming towards you as well. Some of you are being encouraged, like if you do drink, just like drink responsibly, you know, but try not to worry too much. Like have fun, enjoy yourself, but like also take care of yourself. That makes sense. We also have party, nice, celebrate yourself. So some of you could be worried about being able to celebrate yourself or being able to kind of just acknowledge your achievements or just acknowledge something good happening for you, or if you just kind of want to celebrate for the sake of celebrating. Like if you're worried about whether or not you will be able to do that, it feels like something that you will be able to do. So you've just been encouraged not to worry about, because it feels like something that is kind of making its way towards you anyway, you know? We also have divine life purpose. It says trust the signs and your inner guidance, which are leading you to fulfillment. Yes. So it feels like, I don't know if any of you are even worried about your life purpose, or you may not even maybe like categorize it as your life purpose. It could just be something that you're really interested in, passionate about, or something you've just really dedicated a lot of time and energy into. But it feels like try not to worry about it, however you define it, because you're on the right path. Like there's like a consistent message of you guys being on the right path. So try not to worry too much. Knight of Wands, strength. Anyways, do you have more from this actually? Okay. And finally, we have return to joy. We are here to experience joy. Return to joy. Oh, that was clarified by the sun. So it feels like you guys don't need to worry about whether or not your life will be maybe exciting again, whether you will be feeling joyful again. And this could be maybe joyful like in like the grand scheme of things, or it could be in a relationship, like say for example things have been a bit, you know, tense, then the joy will be returning to that relationship. For some of you it could just be within you, and if you've been feeling like you've been focused too much on things that don't necessarily bring you that joy, that happiness, it feels like that's something that's returning to your life. So try not to worry too much about whether there will be like positive changes, because it feels like that's something that's definitely on its way to you. Okay, do you have more from this? Yeah, so that is all I have for this group. I really do hope it could be helpful to you though, and I'm wishing you all the best. Okay, please take care of yourselves. Bye.